Hey y'all, what's going on? Yo, I had to come on here and do a birth chart reading for Alyssa Forever. I'm very late to the party. I'm sure a lot of you probably already know who this is, but for those of you that don't, Alyssa Forever is this big influencer YouTuber who appears to be going through a really rough time financially, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Okay. Homegirl was big, very, very beautiful woman, has Virgo on the ascendant, so she got them defined cheekbones. She got that pointy nose. She has that youthful look, that youthful glow. She's just a very gorgeous woman. Her face is just very defined and structured and very pretty. And she was doing brand deals for Nike, for Nars. She was collaborating with other really big influencers, made millions of dollars, millions of dollars. And when I looked at her birth chart, she has her Capricorn North Node at the first degree. So one energy is sun energy. The sun governs over Leo. One energy represents the first house, which is Aries energy. And usually Capricorn North nodes tend to become wealthy. They tend to become millionaires. And for her to have it at a Sun Leo degree, which deals with fame and visibility and all of that stuff, it makes sense that she came into that at a very early age. Once again, I wasn't that familiar with her up until recently, but apparently she was one of those big influencers in the 2010s, like the mid to late 2010s. And then about 2 years ago, after going through a really bad breakup with her significant other and exposing him and saying that he was narcissistic, he was a leech, apparently, and this is all according to Choice TV, he did a really um good deep dive on the situation, in which made me come on here and do this video and do this birth chart. But apparently she was like helping to take care of the boyfriend's family, um had a lot of people leeching off of her, lost her home and everything. Is last time people heard, she was in San Francisco and her car got broken into, and she was staying in a hotel and she had $20 to her name. She said she reached out to her father, seeing if she could be his assistant, for some financial gain, and he didn't want to help her. He told her that she needs to go and get a job. It's just a really crazy situation. So I'm gonna share my screen. Make sure y'all hit the thumbs up once again. Comment below, let me know what you think about this video. Subscribe if you are new here. And of course, if you would like to book your own consultation, my booking site is pinned right in the comments. It's also in the description box. My email is there just in case you have any questions or clarifications before you purchase. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. And let's get into this. So the first thing that stands out to me is she's a Saturn in Aquarius. She has her Saturn at the 18th degree in Aquarius. Now, Saturn and Aquarius natives learn their karmic lessons around their friends, around their networks, around their groups, okay? And of course, depending on what house you have it in, how it's aspected, that also adds layers to it. But for the sake of time, right off the rip, she has her Saturn in Aquarius in the sixth house. The sixth house is the sign of open enemies. So it's funny how she said God revealed a lot to her. She wanted to get away from like the Hollywood lifestyle. She let it all go. Like she took her YouTube channel down. All her videos is gone. Um she said all of the people that she's collaborated with, she's not friends with them. You understand? And for her to have it opposing her Jupiter, which is in the 12th house of Leo, boom, that's the big exposure, because the 12th house is hidden enemies. Jupiter exasperates whatever it touches, and then you have Leo there, which is that sun energy shining a light on what's hidden. So I could see Miss Mama's going through her Saturn return, and I'll even say with her like having her Jupiter in Virgo at the sixth degree. Okay. Sixth energy is Virgo energy, is also Venus energy, but in this case, I'm gonna attribute it more to the Virgo energy because Virgo is the natural opposite sign of Pisces, okay? Pisces naturally governs over the 12th house. So that's the mental and emotional injuries that we get, right? That's why it deals with institutions and hospitals and whatnot. The sixth house, on the other hand, is physical. injuries. And then once again, the sixth house also represents open enemies. The 12th house is hidden enemies. The 12th house is Pisces. The sixth house is Virgo. Okay. So for her to have Virgo, her Virgo Jupiter sitting in the 12th house, that already, because she kept mentioning God and how God is revealing things. And the 12th house is a very spiritual house. It's a very spiritual house. It's the unconscious. It's what's there, but we don't see it, but it manifests itself in different ways. And for her to have Jupiter there, and Jupiter does well in the 12th house because it's at home. Jupiter and Neptune govern over Pisces. So whenever Jupiter is in the 12th house, it does well. And it also actually gives spiritual protection. Ask me how I know. Okay, I got my Jupiter and Sagittarius in the 12th house. Bitch, throw a brick, we gonna build with it. Period. Okay. So Jupiter does really well in the 12th house. And for her to have it in Virgo, that can deal with her. I wouldn't even be surprised, like, if when all of this clears, if her mental health doesn't go too far off the deep end, which I pray it doesn't, she goes into the business of service. Okay, and I'm gonna get into that in a second. But she definitely be getting some really big intuitive downloads. However, because it's Virgo and she's a Virgo moon, I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a offset of borderline spiritual psychosis, or if she's getting psychic attacks or something like that. Um, I would not be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. And like I said, once like I said, it was 2 years ago this downward spiral started when she was in the midst of her Saturn return, when Saturn was in Aquarius. Because remember, it just entered Pisces back in March. You understand? Another thing that I think is crazy with her losing all the money, her investments, her savings, everything is just gone. Think about it. Pluto has been in her fifth house since I don't want to say 2008, because it started in 2008, and of course Pluto starts at, it's 0 degree. But her fourth house her fourth house ends in Capricorn, and then it bleeds into her fifth house. Okay, Pluto has been um in her fifth house for quite some time now, and it still is in her fifth house. Even as it goes through its very early degrees of Aquarius, it's still going to be in her fifth house. The fifth house deals with pleasure, it deals with children, creativity, fame, the spotlight, exposure, all those Leo themes, because it's the natural house for Leo. So this speaks to her blowing up and becoming huge. And then especially with Capricorn being there, um and well, her north node is in Capricorn, but it's in her fourth house. This speaks to her really blowing up and becoming a big sensation. But it also can speak to with that Aquarius, right? Because Aquarius deals with sudden upheaval. It's the curveball, it's the chin check, right? It's the uppercut. It going into Aquarius back in March, that could have stripped her of everything. Even though she voluntarily detached herself from him, that shit, that's her fame and her fall from grace being stripped from her. So Pluto can come in and transform your shit for the good. In addition to that, it can transform your shit for the bad. It really can. And then she has her Chiron in Leo at the 6 degrees. Okay. So this speaks to her having wounds attached to fame. And then once again, it's that Virgo degree. So that could speak to her having a mental psychotic break. And then even with her moon at the 15th degrees, that breaks down to a 6. She has a lot of 6 energy in her chart. Her Venus, her moon, her Jupiter, her Chiron. She has a lot of Virgo undertones in her chart, on top of her having her Jupiter ascendant and moon in Virgo. And like I said, Shit. Moon in Virgo, it's a very creative sign, you know. Nicki's a Virgo moon. I think Madonna's a Virgo moon. Um, DMX is a Virgo moon. But when it's squaring your sun, and in this case it is, that's a recipe once again for some things to not be right up there. You understand? Gemini is a very tricky sign in itself too. I mean, look at Kanye, look at Azealia Banks, look at Lauryn Hill. These are people, because they're Mercury dominance, where these can be super duper intelligent people. They can have access to like some really out of this world celestial information, but if their mental is fragile, they're not going to be able to handle it. And then when you put that mixed in with just regular life events, this is what you get. I think that um her having her Saturn return in the sixth house, and then it activating her 12th house, which is on the opposite end where her Jupiter is. I think a lot of things, like she said, were exposed and revealed to her. And of course, people are going to be like, oh, she's crazy, she's this. And she do have her screws loose, but multiple truths can coexist. Sometimes you unearth the truth and it's so ugly, you disassociate without even trying. It happens all the time. People have a psychotic break. It's like you don't even realize that's what's happening. You just instantly disassociate, like you don't know. And then she was on that Hollywood scene, so we don't know what she seen or what she was. We don't know. We just don't know. We don't know what she was exposed to. We really don't. And then once again, her having a North Node in Capricorn. I was just talking about this. People that have Cancer on the South Node, and even if you have your South Node in the fourth house, and I can attest to that, Cancer is all about attachments and emotional investments. Whereas Capricorn could be a bit more callous and cutthroat and just detached. And I'm about my money. I'm about this. I ain't about those emotions and shit. And sometimes the way to whip you into shape and just fucking fast track you into that Capricorn North Node is shit like this. I was just talking about this with the DC Young Fly. Having all your shit that brings you comfort stripped from you in the blink of a fucking eye. And y'all know I went through that. So that shit is real. That shit is real. I ain't trying to scare people that have it on the South Node and the North Node, but that shit is real. That shit is real because it's teaching you how to rediscover that individual power, where you don't have to depend. You don't think like, okay, if I don't have this attachment, if I don't have this relationship, then I ain't shit. You understand? So I just wish her the best of luck. I wish her the best of luck. And then it's crazy because the North Node is about to. She has Saturn in her seventh house right now, which is retrograding. Okay, so that deals with relationships, partnerships, and whatnot, and it's in Pisces. Okay, Neptune is also there, so that can be a thing too, because Neptune is, Pisces is deceptive in itself. And then Neptune and having that in the seventh house, that can definitely deal with her having a lot of leeches around her, a lot of people around her that don't have good intentions. It definitely can deal with that. And Pisces can be a very narcissistic sign as well. But the North Node is about to enter her eighth house of Aries. Um, and that's kind of scary because the eighth house deals with death. And I see she has Mars there. So she's gonna have to really be careful because she could get into an accident over the next year and a half. and she gonna have the South Node in the second house, which deals with her resources and finances and stuff. I even wouldn't be surprised, especially with Saturn sitting in the seventh house, if she gets into some legal trouble, some type of legal trouble, or there's some type of lawsuit where she ain't gonna have the money to pay for that shit either. Jupiter entered her ninth house, so once again, and that's gonna be there for a year, so that can deal with her getting grounded spiritually and religiously and whatnot. So it's gonna be. I just wish her the best of luck because she just really seemed like she's out there. You understand? She really does. You know, and even like with her father, but we don't know the story. I'm treading very lightly with this because as someone that deals and has dealt with people that have like their mental illness and stuff, that shit is not fun, and it's no joke. It's not fun, and it's no joke. So y'all have a good day. Thank you so much for watching, and bye.